All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brian Lundgren. He is a snowplow driver for the city. They just got done discussing his route that he takes every year, I'm sure for years, and his familiarity of the area where Brian Albert lives. Now, when you do this type of work, and if you know the Alberts, you know everything about them as far as the vehicles they drive, what's in their property, what's on their yard. So he knows his job quite well. Brian is a guy that knows his policy and procedures. Now that night, there was a 2:30 punch-in, which means he has to be at the lot, punch in at 2:30 and on his route. So you're going to see Lately try to cross-examine this guy, but Brian is rock solid. And many of you already probably have saw this, but I took a look at it and I thought this guy is what every witness should be like. He doesn't hesitate. He might stutter a little bit trying to figure out what the question is, but he does not waver one bit. This guy's a rock star.
Now, familiarity with 34 Fairview Road, does that extend to sort of the lighting around that area?
No.
So do you know that there is actually no street lighting whatsoever in the area of the fire hydrant, the flagpole, or anywhere there for several hundred feet?
Correct.
So you do know that?
I believe so, yes.
And so when you're driving by, you're looking for cars coming out of the driveway, cars coming in the opposite direction, people walking, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're trying to look for those objects so that you make sure that you don't strike them or hit them or anything like that, correct?
Correct.
It's like the judge is kind of bored right there. Can't say sustained.
And on February 15th, 2022, when you had this meeting with Paul, you told him about 3:30 or 4 a.m. Is when you saw this Ford Edge on Cedar Cliffs, correct?
Correct.
Now, in fact, when you first spoke to this individual named Paul, you didn't tell him it was a Ford Edge, correct?
No, told him it was a Ford Edge.
You didn't tell him first that it was a small SUV?
No, told him it was a Ford Edge.
Do you remember at any time Paul taking you on the parking lot and showing you different vehicles and asking you if those vehicles matched what vehicle you saw?
No. He wanted to make sure that what I was telling him was accurate. So he showed me what was a Ford Edge, but I had already told him it was a Ford Edge.
So he brought you out to the parking lot at the skating rink that you were meeting at, specifically showed you a Ford Edge and asked you if that was the vehicle.
Correct.
Now, do you know sort of the difference between, if you were to see a Ford Edge at nighttime in a snowstorm, the difference between a Ford Edge and a Jeep Cherokee?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The taillights in the back.
What about them?
Ford Edges are more round. The whole back facade is a little bit more round. A Jeep Cherokee are more square.
So Brian spends a lot of time on the road. Just like myself and B, we would drive and we would recognize cars just by the back end of the cars or the front of the cars or the side of the car. So when Brian is describing this vehicle, the Ford Edge, the whole facade of it is a little bit, like he said, more round, and the Jeep is more squared. So he knows exactly what he's talking about. No doubt that he saw a Ford Edge. So remember, who drives a Ford Edge in the Alberts family? Keep that in mind. Rock on, Brian.
Now, what color was this SUV that you saw?
I can't tell you that. I am colorblind.
No.
Can you tell, I'm just curious, sir, as far as your color blindness, can you tell whether or not an object is dark or light just by looking at it? Or you can't tell at all?
I can see things that are light. I can see things that are dark. I can see true colors. I can't see shades of true colors.
And so from what you saw, was this light or dark?
Light.
Yeah, Laley is getting smoked right now. He doesn't know what to do. Listen how many times he clears his throat.
Now, you told this Paul individual on February 15th that the SUV that you saw was exactly where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found, correct?
Correct.
How do you know where his body was found?
I told him specifically if he was looking at the door, the front door, it was about 3 feet to the left of the door. And with
To the left of the door?
looking at the front of the door, to the left of the door, pushing it up Fairview.
So if he wrote in his report that you told him that the vehicle was exactly where the body was found, that would not be true? Objection.
No, I'll allow that.
Could you repeat that question, please?
Get it right,
He wrote in
buddy.
his report that you told him that the SUV was exactly where the body was found. That would not be true, would it not?
That would be true. The car was to the left of the door, putting it in front of the flagpole.
My question for you, sir, is how do you know where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found? At any point in time, did you see Mr. O'Keefe's body on the front lawn?
No.
So how do you know where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found?
Through police reports, police interviews, stuff that was posted on the media.
So you've seen police reports in the media?
Well, not the
correct?
police reports, I'm sorry, but what was said during on the news.
So what you've heard on the news, not necessarily what you saw or what you know yourself, correct?
Can you repeat that question, please?
You're recounting sort of what you've heard or saw on the news, and so this doesn't come from your personal knowledge or anything about where Mr. O'Keefe was, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So he knows the operas. He knows what vehicles they drive. He knows everything about their front yard because he drives up and down that road multiple times during the winter, I'm guessing, because I'm sure they get a lot of snow. So when he's trying to question him as far as distances and stuff like that, he knows everything about it. Good job, Brian.
Now, you also spoke with some other individuals in May of 2023, correct?
Correct.
Now, did you tell those individuals that you actually came in, and when you say came in, you come into sort of the main sort of hub or the shed on Boulevard Street, correct?
Correct. We punch in.
That's where you punch in and you pick up your truck and you sort of do your checkpoint around the truck and then you go out and plow.
Correct.
Now, you were plowing on this street. Was there any other sort of subcontractor or anything else that was working, plowing the roads as well?
Yes.
And who was that?
It was by the yard landscaping.
And so they assist as far as the plow route is concerned, and they go around and they plow things on the same route that you were describing, correct?
Correct.
Now, these other people that you talked to in May of 2023, did you tell them at that time that you actually came in around 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m.?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that, or you didn't tell them?
I don't remember that.
So that would be a significant difference, 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. from 2:15 a.m. and 2:30 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Now, you also indicated to them at that time that you went past Fairview at approximately 12 a.m. and 2 a.m., correct?
I never did 12, but it was definitely 2:30,
So if they wrote
2:40,
that in a report, that
2:35.
would be inaccurate as well, correct?
Sustained, and only one person can talk at a time.
My apologies. I'm sorry, sir. Please continue and finish your answer.
I didn't hear the question.
Okay. Well, let me ask it again. So as far as if that was contained within a report regarding that conversation in May of 2023, that you went past Fairview Road or went down Fairview Road at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m., that would not be accurate, correct? Objection.
Sustained, ask it differently.
Did you go down Fairview Road at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.?
No.
If that were contained in a report of your conversation you had in May of 2023, would that be accurate? Objection.
Sustained, ask it differently, Mr. Loughran.
Now, as far as that conversation that you had in May of 2023, did you tell those individuals that you saw the vehicle around 1:30 or 2 in the morning?
Again, I don't remember ever saying that.
But he didn't.
Is that accurate as far as whether or not you told them that?
Again, I don't remember saying that.
Did you see a vehicle around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning?
I wasn't on the road at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Correct. Now, do you also recall telling those individuals that Fairview Road was blocked off by cruisers at about 3 or 3:30 in the morning?
Again, that would have been correct.
Do you recall saying that in May of 2023?
I do not.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So he's had a report that he allegedly made those comments or those statements, and he still does not recollect it. And he still sticks to his guns.
Mr. Loughran, after having reviewed that, is your memory refreshed as to that conversation you had in May of 2023?
No, it does not.
So you still, after reading that, don't recall telling anybody in May of 2023 that you came in around 11:30 p.m., 12 a.m. on the 28th, 29th?
I never came in at 11:30, 12:30 at night. It was 2:30 call-in.
Came in and interviewed him. One of them was Proctor. Let that simmer in your mind. Proctor.
You don't recall indicating to anyone in May of 2023 that you went past Fairview at 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.?
Correct, never did.
And you don't recall telling anyone that you saw the car around 1:30 or 2 a.m.? Is that correct?
Correct.
And you don't recall telling anybody that the part of Fairview containing 34 Fairview was blocked off at 3 or 3:30 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Now, if the part of Fairview that you were talking about, so you didn't say that in May of 2023, because at 3 or 3:30, the roadway wasn't blocked off, correct?
Correct.
It was blocked off sometime around 6 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And so if you had said that the roadway was blocked off at 3 or 3:30 in the morning, and it was actually 6, then when you saw the vehicle, it would have been off a little bit as well, correct? Objection.
Sustained.
Lely's trying to get him crisscrossed, and he's rock solid. He's sticking to his guns. He knows what he saw.
In the car at 1:32 in the morning, with the road being blocked off at 3 or 3:30 in the morning. If the road's blocked off at 6 a.m., then that actually would have been, you saw a car sometime around 5 a.m., correct? Objection.
Sustained.
Sure you didn't see a black Lexus SUV in front of the house at 34 Fairview Road around 5 a.m.?
No.
Now, you also were asked some questions and you spoke to some troopers in August of 2023, correct?
Correct.
And County Canton, they have a parking ban in Canton, is that correct?
Correct.
That goes from November until April?
Correct.
Now, part of your plow route is a road called Tippy Cart, correct?
Correct.
And at some point, when you were plowing on Tippy Cart that night, you actually hit a basketball. Is that right?
Yes.
And did you call that in?
Yes.
And as a result of that, what happened with the basketball hoop after that?
Nothing. The point was to make sure I was covered.
So he calls it in to supervisor to make sure that he's okay and he's covered. I'm telling you, this guy does everything by the book. So he's not lying about his testimony. When they question him about the report that he allegedly made those statements to, he still read it and he goes, yeah, I don't remember saying that.
Basically, it's why I notified my supervisor that I hit the basketball hoop.
And about what time was that you hit the basketball hoop?
I don't recall.
Is it closer to when you started, closer to when you ended?
I don't recall. I don't recall what time.
So you don't recall anything specific about that time frame, correct?
No, just that I know I hit the basketball net.
And obviously, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, sir, but you didn't intentionally hit the basketball hoop, correct?
Correct.
So you hit it because you didn't see it, correct?
No, I was attempting to avoid the net by going around it, and the machine had a different sized body than what it originally had, and I underestimated when I was going around that I need to be wider.
So you misjudged the distance, is that fair to say?
Yes.
You have sunk my battleship.
Excellent!
So he did everything he needed to do He answered the questions. He didn't waver. The report that he saw, he didn't recognize it, or maybe he did recognize it, but he didn't recognize those statements that he made. Brian is an honest, hardworking American. I love this guy. So let me know what you think. This was just a spur of the moment that I did. I told Brian about it. He's going to look into it as well, but I wanted to get this out and get you guys' opinion about what you guys thought about him being called onto the stand. Lately tried to crisscross him. Unsuccessful. So, like that last scene, Brian sunk his battleship. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.
1 Sam 5 and 1 Sam 6, copy of 425 call.
Copy. 1 Sam 5 en route.
1 Sam 6, copy, en route.